Have you ever wondered who truly controls this world? It's not the smartest, nor the kindest, most talented, or hardest working people. Just look around you. The individuals leading the way, those who consistently attract all eyes, resources, and respect, they operate on a completely different operating system. Meanwhile, you've been taught that intelligence revolves solely around IQ, problem-solving abilities, or memory. But that's a lie sold to the working class just to keep them productive. True power employs an entirely different kind of intelligence. It's called dark intelligence. So, what is dark intelligence? It's the ability to understand the undercurrents of human behavior, to decipher what's hidden in silence, to break free from the desperate craving for affection and instead seize control of your own reality. Sadly, most of us live like sleepwalkers, reacting to emotions we don't understand, manipulated by unseen forces. They are merely pawns, yet they believe they are the main players. If you're tired of always feeling left behind, if you find yourself in a game where everyone knows the rules but you, then listen very carefully to this. We are not gathered here to debate morality. Our purpose is to discuss survival. Niccolò Machiavelli was not the villain many perceive him to be. He was merely a realist, living in a world full of delusional optimists. He understood that the gap between how we wish people would behave and how they actually do is where you are most vulnerable to destruction. You've spent your entire life striving to be good, to live transparently, to be understood by everyone, but ultimately, what has that brought you? Only betrayal, exhaustion, and the feeling of being left behind while less capable individuals effortlessly surpass you. But all of that ends today. In the next 25 minutes, we will explore the 9 laws of dark intelligence. Remember, these are not mere positive affirmations. Instead, these are sharp, psychological weapons, powerful tools for you to break free from all surrounding manipulation and build a strong fortress of self-mastery in your mind. However, a warning, this knowledge, once acquired, cannot be reversed. Once you see through the invisible strings, you can never return to the old puppet show. You will recognize the lies hidden deep within relationships, the subtle power games in the workplace, and even the latent weaknesses within yourself when you look in the mirror. If you're not ready to abandon the part of you that always wants to play the victim, then leave immediately. As for those who are ready, welcome to the harsh desert of reality. The first law, the law of selective silence. Why do most people talk? Simply to fill voids. They fear silence because in that quiet moment, they are forced to confront themselves. So, they chatter incessantly, they try to explain, and they share far too much unnecessary information. They inadvertently hand over the blueprint of their minds to anyone willing to listen, and that very act makes them predictable. And once you're predictable, you can be completely controlled. Dark intelligence truly begins when you no longer use words to seek validation, but instead transform them into sharp, precise tools. Machiavelli realized that the person who speaks the least in a room often holds the most power. Why? Because information is a valuable currency. When you speak, you spend it. Conversely, when you listen, you accumulate it. Try to recall the last time you felt threatened by someone. Was it the person shouting loudly and making threats? Certainly not. It was the one sitting silently, just staring at you, without uttering a single word. That very silence created a pressure-filled void, and human nature inherently abhors emptiness. When you remain silent, your opponent's anxiety will compel them to fill that void themselves. Did you know? When your opponent starts speaking, they not only reveal their intentions, but also expose their deepest insecurities, even showing you exactly how to overcome them, all because they cannot tolerate your powerful silence. Absolutely never explain or justify yourself or your actions. And a golden rule: do not offer your personal opinion unless others actively seek it from you. Transform yourself into a true information black hole. You will absorb all data, every detail, but absolutely reflect nothing back. Do you recognize the power of mystery? When your opponent cannot ascertain your stance, they will be utterly powerless to formulate a counter-strategy. Instead, they will become more cautious, even having to seek your approval. Silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is the clearest manifestation of control. And this is the second law, the principle of strategic amorality. Are you ready to face resistance? Because for a long time, we have been trained to view every event, every person, and every outcome through a binary lens, whether it is good or bad, fair or unfair, right or wrong. Moralizing everything is an invisible chain tightening around you. True Machiavellian thinking doesn't concern itself with good or bad. The only thing it cares about is whether an action is effective or ineffective. When a predator hunts its prey, is that an act of cruelty? Absolutely not. It is simply an inevitable law of survival. Or when a storm destroys a house, does it have malicious intent? Not at all. It is simply an unavoidable event of nature. Have you ever wondered why you suffer? It's because you're trying to impose your personal moral framework onto an inherently chaotic universe. You get angry when betrayed, simply because you believe they weren't allowed to do that. You feel frustrated when you miss an opportunity, simply because you deem it unfair. But dark wisdom demands that you transcend such emotional, subjective judgments. Learn to perceive reality objectively, like a mechanic inspecting an engine. If the car doesn't start, the mechanic would never judge the engine as bad. Instead, he would find the faulty part and proceed to repair or replace it. When someone attacks you, never waste your precious energy feeling offended, because offense is only for the weak. Instead, focus on analyzing coldly what motivated their attack, what is their true objective, what advantage do they hold, and most importantly, how can I completely neutralize this move? This is the concept of strategic amorality. This doesn't mean you are an immoral person. Rather, it means you won't let personal moral principles cloud your vision of the power dynamics at play. You can absolutely be a good person, but first, you must become a cold and sharp strategist. Because a good person without power is not virtuous. They are merely a victim awaiting their fate. Never ask, why are they doing this to me? Again. Instead, start asking, what opportunities will this move open up for me next? And this is the third law, the principle of controlled vulnerability. There's a common misconception that people with dark triad traits, or Machiavellians, are emotionless machines, cold, distant, and unapproachable. But that's just an amateur-level misunderstanding. Those who try to appear tough are merely hiding weakness. True dark wisdom understands that humans, by nature, are incredibly emotional beings. Did you know that if you try to appear too perfect, too cold, or too invulnerable, you will inadvertently stir up envy? You will create enemies who only want to see you bleed, simply to prove that you are also just human. So how do you make others drop their guard? You need to reveal a flaw. This is the principle of deliberate vulnerability. You intentionally expose a small, harmless weakness to make those around you lower their defenses. For example, you might admit you're not very good with technology. Or you could share a slightly embarrassing past story, or simply ask them for help with trivial, insignificant tasks. This will trigger the famous Ben Franklin effect. When others help you or notice a weakness in you, they will automatically lower their guard. They will feel superior or find deep empathy. In their minds, you're just an ordinary person like everyone else. Amazing, isn't it? That's exactly where you want them to be. While they're preoccupied with the selective flaw you've exposed, they completely overlook your true strengths. You are subtly shaping their perception of you. You humanize yourself just enough not to be seen as a threat, but keep your true nature, plans, and real weaknesses hidden in a vault they know nothing about. Never expose a fatal weakness, but occasionally let them see a small scratch on your arm. That will make them feel safe around you. And an opponent who feels safe is an opponent easily overcome. Next, the fourth law. What is the power of the mirror? We live in an era of extreme self-love. Most people are mesmerized by their own reflection. In the movie of their lives, they are always the main character, while everyone else is just a blurry supporting actor. The biggest mistake you often make is trying to be the star in their movie. You strive to impress, to prove how smart you are. Stop. Dark wisdom tells you not to try and overshadow them. Instead, turn yourself into a mirror. Reflect their emotions back to them. If they are angry, acknowledge and validate that anger. If they are excited, immerse yourself in their energy. Use their own words, and even subtly mimic their posture. When you mirror someone, a powerful psychological transformation occurs. They no longer see you. Instead, they see themselves. And because they love themselves, they will automatically love you. They will believe you are the smartest, most charming, and most understanding person they've ever met, even if you say very little. This is not pretense. It's a sophisticated data-gathering strategy. When you mirror, you don't react. You are silently observing. You are discovering their triggers, core values, and even their weaknesses. While they are captivated by their own reflection in your eyes, you are silently mapping out their psychological landscape. You hold the key to profoundly influencing them. Remember, a mirror has no ego. It simply reflects. Do you want to control the game without anyone knowing? Become a mirror, letting your opponents drown in self-satisfaction and ostentation. While they are engrossed in their own image, you will quietly rearrange the chessboard, taking them completely by surprise. Do you know the root of all anxiety? It's law number 5. Outcome independence. All insecurity stems from our excessive attachment to what will happen. How much do you crave that job, that relationship, or that respect? When you desire something too intensely, do you realize you're inadvertently sending out signals of desperation, of a lack? In the world of power, scarcity is anathema. Why? Because people often shy away from those who need them too much and are drawn to those who are self-sufficient, who can thrive without anyone else. So, how do you escape that vicious cycle? You need to cultivate a state of absolute outcome independence. This is a powerful mindset. I will give my best effort, I will plan meticulously, but if things don't go my way, I'll still be okay. Make no mistake, this is not giving up. On the contrary, this is the ultimate power move, when you are ready to stand up and walk away from the negotiating table without hesitation. You will hold every advantage, every bit of control, the moment you accept the possibility of losing a relationship. At that point, you are the one who sets the standards. Machiavelli recognized a harsh truth. The fear of loss will make you a slave. Do you want to be controlled? If your boss knows you're afraid of losing your job, then he already has complete control over you. Similarly, if your partner knows you're afraid of being alone, they will also own you. So what's the solution? You must dare to confront and accept the worst-case scenario in your mind. Try to imagine you lose everything, dare to accept it, and then you will realize a truth. You will still survive and even become stronger. What happens when you completely break free from the fear of loss? You become incredibly dangerous, an unassailable force. When you are no longer afraid, you can freely speak the truth without fear of consequences. You can take any risk because you no longer fear failure. It sounds paradoxical, but the person who needs nothing is ultimately the one who gets everything. Why? Because they act from a position of abundance, not from scarcity or craving. Do you want a peaceful, uneventful life? Most people do. But have you heard about law number 6, the useful enemy? They crave to be liked by everyone and are willing to avoid all conflict at any cost. But this is a fundamental mistake, a biological error, because conflict is the forge where the sharpest intellect is tempered. Without resistance, your mind will gradually atrophy. Machiavelli once advised princes not only to prepare for war, but also to actively study and understand it. Dark intelligence understands the value of an enemy. An enemy not only sharpens you, but also forces you to focus intensely on your goals. They expose your weaknesses, giving you an opportunity to overcome them. So what happens if you have no enemies? You will easily fall into a state of complacency. That complacency comes from your own ego. Sometimes you need to leverage the friction, the confrontation from opponents to create strong motivation, pushing yourself further. What drove great people? Look at history. Tesla needed Edison, Ali needed Fraser. Could rivals be the ultimate motivators? Friction doesn't just create fire, it tempers the will. So why complain about those who constantly try to bring you down? Let their doubts become proof of your burning ambition. And did you know, a common enemy is the strongest glue, building alliances faster than anything else? Doesn't a shared threat always unite a group the quickest? Do you want to unite a team, a family, or even a movement? Don't just preach love, clearly identify a common threat. Don't fear your enemies, wisely choose them. Why? Find a rival worthy of your potential, so every battle becomes an opportunity to elevate yourself. And now, we come to the 7th law, the law of persona. Are you ready to explore? Do you believe you are just one person, always true to yourself? That might be a limitation. In reality, you are a multitude, a collection of many different versions. Do you realize that? Do you act differently with your mother compared to your boss, or with your lover compared to a rival? Clearly, we are not just one single version. Dark intelligence is the ability to consciously choose these masks. It's when you realize that so-called authenticity is sometimes just a convenient excuse for a lack of self-control. Do you agree? I'm just being myself, the man who ruined the dinner party with his anger justified. But was that authenticity or just a display of immaturity and lack of control? What do you think? You need to view your persona as a flexible structure, a sharp tool. When entering an important meeting, do you know which mask you need to wear? It's the mask of authority, cold, decisive, and resolute. And when with family, you put on the mask of a protector, warm, connected, and always present. This isn't deceit. It's a wise adjustment, isn't it? You wouldn't use a hammer to tighten a screw, would you? And you certainly wouldn't use a screwdriver to hammer a nail. So why use the same tool for every situation? So why try to use only one persona for every situation in life? Machiavelli once pointed out that a skilled prince must be a master of pretense and concealment. Do you agree? That prince must be able to transform, being both a fierce lion and a cunning fox, because if you only know how to be a lion, you'll easily fall into traps. What happens if you only have one facet? Conversely, if you're only a fox, the wolves will devour you. Flexibility is the key to survival. Learn to become water. Do you understand what I mean? Be fluid, taking the shape of any container you're in. And when that container shatters, what happens? You will flow away, not shatter. That is the power of flexibility. And now we come to the 8th law, the law of necessary doubt. Are you ready to explore? Trust but verify. Is this saying still relevant? No, it's too soft and not sharp enough, don't you think? Verify thoroughly and only then temporarily trust, because an overly naive mind tends to project its own goodness onto the world, unaware of the hidden dangers. Do you find this to be true? Do you think I wouldn't deceive him, or is it just a pretext for him to deceive me in return? Do you know that this very projection is the root cause of the greatest pains in your life? Dark wisdom will force you to confront a harsh truth. Does anyone truly act for others, or are we all pursuing self-interest, even when doing good, just to feel good about ourselves? This isn't a call for you to become cynical, but a reminder to be vigilant. Do you dare to cultivate a constant skepticism? Don't confuse suspicion with paranoia. Paranoia is baseless fear, but what is suspicion? It's the subtlety in observing every small detail. What will you believe more, what people say or what they do? Because words are just empty air, often used to conceal and manipulate. Actions are the truest measure. So when someone unexpectedly offers you a golden opportunity, do you dare to ask yourself, what do they want from me? When praise is showered upon you, ask yourself, what are they trying to hide? Machiavelli once warned, men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate necessities that a deceiver will never lack victims. Do you want to be a victim of deception? Don't. Always demand proof and verify loyalty before you place your absolute trust. Before handing over an entire kingdom, do you dare to test people's loyalty with a little power? Better to be surprised by their loyalty than shattered by betrayal. Wouldn't you agree? And this is the 9th law, the law of shadows. A law so profound that Carl Jung and Machiavelli, despite living in different eras, would nod in agreement. Are you ready to explore it? Do you dare to confront and integrate with the monster within you? Society always teaches you to be gentle, harmless, to bury all anger, greed, and lust for power. But is a harmless person truly virtuous, or is it merely a manifestation of weakness? Because if one lacks the ability to stop evil, can they truly do good? Dark wisdom begins when you realize a terrifying truth. You are fully capable of terrible things. You can be cruel, you can manipulate. Do you dare to admit that? You cannot deny this, you must accept it. But why accept it? Because if you don't understand the darkness within yourself, how can you possibly recognize it in others? If you remain naive, or worse, what will happen? When you try to suppress your darkness, it will turn around and control you. That darkness will manifest in many forms: passive aggression, resentment, or even self-sabotage. So what will you do? You must drag that monster into the light, look it straight in the eye, and declare, I see you, I control you. Do you know what the pinnacle of virtue is? It's when you clearly realize you could destroy someone but choose not to. That is ultimate power, perfectly controlled. Machiavelli's ideal leader is not a saint, but a master who knows how to use cunning means to achieve good ends. Do you need that shrewdness, that darkness in your eyes to declare to the world, my peace is a choice, not helplessness? What happens when you truly integrate with your darkness? You will become whole, no longer trembling before the world's darkness, because you have completely mastered the profound darkness within your own soul. Do you realize these 9 laws aren't just rules to memorize, but a new lens through which to view the world? From this moment on, will you ever see things the same way again? You'll begin to perceive silent screams, mirrors reflecting humanity's true nature. Will you be discerning enough to tell the mighty lion from the cunning fox? You're no longer an ordinary person in this inner battle. You've become a true warrior. But are you ready to face the cost of this power, the burden of solitude? When you truly awaken, you'll be astonished by how many people are still in a deep slumber, Can you feel the ever-widening gap between your new self and the life you once knew? Old friends might notice a distinct change in you. They might wonder, why have you become so much colder and quieter than before? Disregard those judgments. You are shedding the skin of a victim. You're completely letting go of the need for external validation. Do you feel freer than ever before? You are stepping into the world of the extraordinary, the exceptions. So, the real question isn't whether these laws actually work, because history has clearly demonstrated their effectiveness over thousands of years. The only remaining question is, do you have the courage to apply them to your own life? Most people will watch this video, nod in agreement, then revert to being prey. They'll continue to complain, continue to dream of a better world. Do you want to be one of them? But you're different. You're still here, aren't you? You're listening to what's hidden in the silence. Can you feel it? If you're truly ready to face the abyss without blinking, if you want to completely dismantle your weaker self to forge an unassailable one, then you know what to do. Hit subscribe, but remember, only if you're genuinely willing to confront every challenge that lies ahead. This rabbit hole goes far deeper than you imagine, and we've only just begun the journey. Are you ready? I'll see you in the deepest depths.